Right. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to the 2023 Pre-Camp Leaders Meeting for Camp Pigott Scouts BSA Summer Camp and Adventure Camp this evening. My name is Don Bader. I'm the Camp Director here at Camp Pigott. And with me tonight, I have Aidan Hennekins, and he is our Program Director for Pigott and for all the programs at the reservation this summer. Not gonna take too much time with introductions. Aidan, you want to tell them a little bit about yourself, and then I'll tell them about me, and we'll move forward.
Yeah, sure. I've been working at Camp Pigott in the Cascade Scout Reservation since 2014, and I'm really excited to be a part of planning and providing an awesome program this season.
Okay. Everybody, again, I'm Don, your Camp Director. Off and on, I've been at the reservation. This will be the 29th year, 6 of those as a young man, and then many, many years as a volunteer for a week or two each summer. And I began here permanently as a ranger in 2016 and took over as camp director in 2019. As Aidan said, I would agree. I'm excited for a successful summer and offering you and your scouts the best program that we can possibly bring to you. Move slides here. Introductions are out of the way. So just a quick rundown of how this is going to go. Before I run down this list, if you have questions throughout this presentation, please use the Q&A function of the webinar. It should be a button on your panel there. We will do our best to answer those questions during a webinar as they come in. Some of them we may touch on later on. And at the very end, we'll do a review of those and see that we tried to answer everything, get whatever we missed. And if there's something that isn't answered or you don't feel was answered to your satisfaction, I always welcome you to email me and I will take care of those. We can do that directly via email at any time. So we're going to talk a little bit about our Camp Pigott leadership. We'll talk about the check-in and medical forms. We'll talk about the things to remember when you're here and how to get here. We have an example of our daily program schedule that we'll kind of go over with you. We'll talk a little bit about what's available on the council website. Never mind Camp Getaway, I missed that. That should have come out. That's actually the family camp that is now moved over to Parsons, and I believe they're doing that again this fall. So after the website, we will get into Adventure Camp. And then, like I said, we'll address any questions that we haven't already talked about there at the end. And again, if we miss anything, feel free to shoot me an email directly. All right, here is our camp leadership. Some of these people you may know, myself, of course, the camp director, Aidan, our program director, our head commissioner, Helen Young, who is also very involved in programs across the council, such as Wood Badge and the Order of the Arrow. And our assistant program director will be Krista Simon this summer. If you attended winter camp, you'll remember her as the winter camp program director from this last winter. I'm going to leave this up for just a bit, 20 seconds, 30 seconds or so. If you'd like to write down any of these emails or telephone numbers, go ahead and do that, and then we'll move on. And you are free to email any of us your questions. Probably the most reliable you're going to get is myself. I camp on my email. These others are happy to answer your questions as well. If you have scouts in your units that are going to be, whoops, sorry, everybody. If you have scouts in your units that are going to be CITs this summer, Krista Simon is also our CIT coordinator. So questions about that can go to her. And then Helen Young, of course, as head commissioner, is your liaison while you're here between your unit and our staff. So if you have questions for her, you can email those to her as well. Moving along. Check-in and medical forms. So check-in for this summer is going to look very similar to last. You have the option here at Camp Pigott to mail your medical forms into us ahead of time. If you do that, it'd be good to get them into us 2 weeks ahead of your arrival, if that's possible for you. You don't have to do this. You're free to bring them along with you when you arrive as well. Mailing them in just gives us a chance to make sure that we go through them thoroughly and make sure we know anything we need to know ahead of you being here. When you arrive, we'll schedule arrival times by campsite. Now, last year that was done, and there were concerns that you might have more than one unit in a campsite, and they were being asked to wait until every unit in the site arrived in full before we moved them up. We're not going to do that this year. We're going to go ahead and we're going to bring your unit up as soon as you're all here and you have your gear ready. We'll meet you in the parking lot just like we've done in the past. When your unit comes up the hill from the parking lot, your unit leader will kind of peel off from that main group and head into the administration office, where we will handle your check-in, collect your medical forms. We'll then forward those to our medical officer. While you're doing that, your unit will walk around to the parade field where they will wait for you to finish up. At check-in, when you turn in your medical forms, you're going to be given kind of a supplemental health questionnaire. That's something that we do at Camp Pigott, just to kind of collect any additional information that maybe the medical form did not cover. You'll then take those forms over and meet your unit in the parade field and have a conference quickly with each of your scouts and any adults you have, and fill out those. They're about a half sheet of paper. It doesn't take long at all. Then your leader will collect those forms back up and go across the parade field into the dining hall, where our medic will meet you. They'll go over your medical forms one last time. They'll go ahead and they'll review those supplemental questionnaires, the little half sheets. And then you'll be able, while you're doing that, your unit will be taken up to their campsite to begin unpacking and getting ready for swim checks. And when you're done with the medic, you'll head up the hill and meet them there. After you've done that, you'll have the opportunity to change quickly, and then the camp tour will begin, and that will include swim checks and everything else you're accustomed to in a camp tour. I had a question about emailing in medical forms. I would prefer that they come in trackable mail. A lot of that is sensitive, HIPAA-protected information, and I'm not real comfortable having it transmitted over the internet. So if you don't feel comfortable sending them through the mail or FedEx or UPS and the trackable service, go ahead and just bring them with you and we'll handle it when you arrive. But email probably isn't the safest way to get those to us. Let me just take care of that one real quick. All right. Moving along. Another question just came in about swim checks. I'm going to try to hit this. If you've already done a swim check, can you bring it? Let's see. Let me make sure I'm reading this right, guys. I apologize. If you have your swim check already done, do they still need to do the one at camp? Possibly no. That is a decision that is 100% up to the discretion of our aquatics director. He is certified through National Camp School, and he is responsible for everything that happens down on that waterfront. If you did that swim check and you can find a way to have it signed off by somebody who is an aquatics director, then he is more likely to accept those checks that you did ahead of camp. And then Matthew Day, that's the same answer for your question. You can do them ahead. Make sure that when you do, you get the sign off of the aquatics instructor who went ahead and did those checks for you, and bring that proof along with you. That is going to make it more likely that your swim checks will be accepted here at camp by our beach director. And let's see, so we've got those. I'm going to move along. All right, let's talk just briefly about medical forms. Again, we offer the option of medical forms being mailed in ahead of time. You would want to mail them with tracking to camp. I would like to add, make sure that the parents of all the kids whose medical forms that you send by mail, if you do that, that they both know about it and are okay with those medical forms coming through the mail before you send them. It'll just prevent a lot of negative things from happening. The advantages to that are that it expedites check-in because we will have already checked through them and marked them that they're good. Our medic can reach out ahead of camp if there's anything missing, and that can be taken care of before you get here. And then we're just better prepared to support you when you get here if you opt to mail those in. If you would like more guidance on that and on what medical forms entail and what's needed on them, that will be in the leader's guide. I aim to have that out next week. It's just about done. We're just putting some finalized information in that. And again, my email will also be in that guide, and you can email those questions directly to me should you feel the need, and I'd be happy to answer. Okay, medications when you're here at camp. The national camping standards that we have to follow require that all prescription drugs be kept in locked storage. Now, we understand that there may be a scout or a leader that has a condition that requires that they keep medication on them so that it can be administered immediately. That would be things such as an inhaler or an EpiPen. Some people need the heart pills, that kind of thing. In order to still meet the rule and accommodate your needs while you're in camp, we have lock boxes that are available for checkout. So if you need to keep that stuff in your campsite for any reason, let us know when you do your check-in, when you're talking with the medic. We can check out a lockbox to you. The key for that should stay with the leader, and the box should be kept in the custody of a leader in their tent or their cabin, just for safety purposes. Okay, emergency contacts and emergencies at camp. If you have an emergency at camp, whether it's during the day or whether it's in the evening, find any staff member and provide them with the name of the scout and the scout's leader and the scout's unit number. Also let them know where the emergency is and what the nature of that emergency is. That staff member knows camp protocol. They will run to admin if it's close enough. If not, they will find the closest staff member with a radio, and that information will be radioed to the office. They'll tell us, please call such and such a number. We have an emergency in this area. It's kind of done in a coded manner so as to prevent panic, but we'll go ahead and we'll start the response that needs to be started. Again, name of the scout, the name of their leader, their unit number, and where the emergency is and what has happened. If you are at home and you need to reach your scout or a leader regarding an emergency at home, and you don't, we realize everybody has a cell phone these days, but if in the event that somebody does not, you can call the camp office and let us know the name of the person you need to reach, their unit number, your name and a good callback number, and we will deliver that message right away, like within 10 minutes. If they don't have a phone, we will make our office phone available so that they can return your call and get the information that they need. Okay. Unit leader requirements. All of us know this, but I'm going to go over it anyway, just so that we're all sure and we're all up front. Every unit that comes to camp must be under the leadership of at least 2 registered adult leaders 21 years of age or older. All adults that are coming and staying overnight with the scouts must be registered with the BSA. A registered female who is 21 years or older must be present for any activity involving females. So if you are a female troop, one of your leaders at least must be 21 and must be female. And then of course, we always have to have the age and program appropriate supervision, and our staff covers that for you. All youth protection policies are in effect at all times here at camp. And so we will move into special needs. This would be things like dietary accommodations. Maybe you need power for a sleep machine, or anything else of that nature. You should provide those through Tentaroo, through the registration system. There's a spot for that. When you fill out your scout rosters, your participants, you should be asked if there are any of these sort of needs that they need taken care of. We ask that you do that at least 14 days prior to attending camp. The earlier you do that, the better it will be, easier for us, and we'll be able to provide for you more efficiently. If you have difficulty using the online system, some have, you are welcome to email your specific needs directly to me, also at least 14 days prior to arrival, and I'll check it against the system, and anything that's missing will then be covered. I'll relay that to the proper people. Maybe it's the cook or the medic or whatever it might be. All right, things to remember to bring along, and remember when you're here at camp, bring along some hand sanitizers. We ask that open-toed shoes, things like sandals, be worn only on the beach. We always use the buddy system here. It's a good idea to bring a water bottle, maybe even two. Nalgene style is great. There's many, many different options, but have a water bottle along with you. There are places around camp that those can be filled. I know offhand there's one in the dining hall. There's another out in the front of the administration near the restrooms, fountains with bottle fillers. Bring bug spray. We do have our biting buddies here at camp throughout the summer, mosquitoes, everything else. So bring along some bug repellent, your personal toiletries and a towel. We advise everybody to bring sunscreen. The last 2 seasons, we've had several days that were over 100 degrees. So the sunscreen is important. Make sure you have all of your forms that are necessary when you arrive, and always remember to have fun. The Scout law, of course, is the law of our camp. Getting here, I just want to kind of explain this. This first address is the address you should use to program into your GPS if you use one of those to find your way to camp. This is not a mailing address. The address to get to Camp Pigott for GPS is 24225 Woods Creek Road in Snohomish, zip 98290. We ask, and every now and then a GPS will attempt to route people through the service road on our property. It's not a road that's really suited for street vehicles. It's a road that we use to kind of get through and maintain both Camp Pigott and Camp Edward. So we ask that you not attempt to access Camp Pigott via Camp Edward. You should enter from Woods Creek Road where you see this sign in the photo. And that moves us along to mailing. Go ahead and write this address down, Camp Pigott, followed by a camper's name and troop number, and then the mailing address, 25600 Monroe Camp Road, also in Snohomish. Our post office is a half an hour away. And if you send packages via post, 1, they're slow, and 2, they have not been bringing parcels out to camp, just regular paper mail, which means that we've got to find somebody to run half an hour into town to pick up the packages, pretty much on an everyday basis. In order to help us to avoid that, we don't always have somebody that can go. And in order to ensure that your packages for your scouts reach camp while they're here, let your parents know, let your families know that the most reliable way for packages is FedEx and UPS. Letters, postcards, that's fine, regular mail, but packages, especially large ones, FedEx and UPS really are the way to go to ensure that they get here on time. All right, that information will also be in the leader's guide that's finished up next week, and that'll be posted online for everybody to access. I believe the office is also going to send an email to everybody who's registered when the Leader's Guide comes out with a link so that you can access that easily. All right, I'm going to, at this point, turn this over to Aiden. He'll talk a little bit about our areas, our offerings, our program, all the fun stuff that we have for you and your scouts to do here. And I'll watch the Q&A while he talks about these things. Just, Aiden, let me know when you're ready to move to the next slide and I'll advance it for you.
Sure. Yeah. So at Camp Pigott, we have a lot of cool and fun program areas that offer a wide variety of different merit badges. Kind of going down this list, we have a Scoutcraft area. This is our scout skills focused area. We've got all our knots, our cooking, our fire making, our wilderness survival activities here. Ecology conservation. This is all where our sciences are. We have like e-science, we have nature-based activities, things of that sort. Over at our craft lodge, we have all our crafts and arts, leatherworking, wood cutting, and like patrol flag making for our like camp-wide events, if you need to make a patrol flag. Over at our aquatics area, we have both swimming and a boating beach. So you can do swimming merit badge. We have swimming open time, you can do open boating merit badges, things of that sort. We also have a mountain biking area at camp. We can do mountain biking during our free times and our troop time activities. If you want to go on like a mountain biking outing, we have places outside of camp. We have a lot of roads that we can go on to get out of camp to go on like little biking trips. If a group of kids would like to do that, we can do that. We have different service projects that we can do around camp. Things are always needing to be done, so we always appreciate doing troops doing service projects. It also will go towards your troop award at the end of the week doing a service project. For shooting sports, we have a rifle, a shotgun, and an archery range. All of those do their respective merit badges, and they're open during our free times and troop times to do different shooting. We also, another big draw to our camp is our COPE course. That is a high ropes course. We offer a program where we'll take in a group of scouts and we'll go through team building and different leadership stuff. COPE stands for challenging outdoor personal experience. So it is focused around personal growth and kind of getting out of your comfort zone and learning more about yourself. Along with that, we also have a climbing tower. We do climbing merit badge, also climbing instruction during free time. And also you can just go climb if you want to have fun there. We offer field games. And lastly, we also have a first-year camper experience program. If you've been to other camps, it's similar to a Trail to First Class kind of style, except it's really focused on those first-year campers. It's a program that takes up merit badge slots, that we offer. But what they do instead is they just go through tenderfoot to first class and do requirements for that, do fun activities. And it's a whole program revolved around kind of giving that first year camper experience. Awesome. Can we go to the next slide, Dawn?
You got it.
Cool. So here's a list of merit badges that we plan to offer. This list may change depending on what our area directors might be very interested in teaching or might not be interested in teaching. So be aware of that. We will have online merit badge signups on Tentaroo before camp starts. So you will be able to see what time slots and what merit badges the scouts will be able to do. And you'll have that ability to have that planned out before you even get to camp. We also have a merit badge midway time kind of sectioned out. You'll see that in the kind of schedule that we have coming up. But that's just a time for people who might not have signed up for merit badges on Tentaroo or might want to change their schedule because they found something they would rather do. It gives them a chance to change if need be. Could you go to the next slide, Don?
Yeah. Just real quick, I'm gonna cut in. I had a question about, are all merit badges able to be completed at camp? The answer to that is in large part yes. There are some prerequisites. The online merit badge sign up will line out what the prerequisites are for those. If a scout comes to camp prepared to prove that his prerequisites are done, that badge can become a complete by the end of the week. If he or she does not have the prerequisites done, then we would issue a partial. But in planning what merit badges we'll offer at camp, we make every attempt to get about 80% of them, maybe a little more, to where they are badges that are completable while the scout is here.
I think some of the only ones that are not completable but require prerequisites would be emergency preparedness and cooking, I believe, have some requirements that we're not able to do at camp.
Okay, I can't see that. There we go. I've had a couple.
For those of you asking about Tentaroo and when you'll be able to sign up, we will be putting it out in the future. So
my due date for the final list of merit badges is due to the council on the 15th of May. Shortly after that, Melissa at our office will have all of that information input into Tentaroo, and the merit badge sign up will go live. That's something that you'll do through your registration. For each scout, you'll be able to pick the classes that they want. It's not a tough process, but so shortly after May 15th, that's when that'll come available. Let me just be ready for the next one.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah. So we do offer more things than just merit badges. We have a whole free time that scouts are able to go around and do activities. As I talked about, open shoot, open swim, open boating. Over at the Scoutcraft area, we also offer a tote and chip, kind of a combination of the Scoutcraft and the EcoCon building. We have the Paul Bunyan Award. There's fireman chit, open craft climbing tower, and mountain biking. There are other activities that we do. I think in the past we've had some on-demand merit badges that aren't sign up, but you would just go to during free time. That's really up to the area director's discretion on that. One thing that I think we did in the past would be small boat sailing, depending on the weather permitted, and so we can do those on demand during free time. But yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty. For tracking and documentation of the merit badges, at camp we track blue cards and control sheets. So these blue cards are what you will receive at the end of the week as adult leaders for your scouts, and then they will have all the information about what they have completed for the merit badge. We also keep control sheets for these merit badges so that we have a record of what the scouts completed. So if a scout maybe comes to camp and then 3 years later now has become an Eagle Scout and they have to figure out what merit badges they've done, we'll have that record if they have to find it. But we keep attendance and things like that on our control sheets. So the goal is that you as an adult leader, if you want to see your scouts progress, you can always go to the merit badge counselor and ask them, hey, how's my scout doing? Were they here for the merit badge class? And then they'll be able to pull out their control sheet and show you what your scout has done. And that's, you can always talk to the area directors or go to the staff member directly, and they should have that information.
I just want to add this line at the bottom. Our council program director, her name is Saffron. She's investigating the possibility of the tracking information on merit badges from Tentaroo. being able to be uploaded directly into Scoutbook. That's something that she's looking into. We believe the functionality is there. She's working directly with Tentaroo and their programmers to get the information on that. We just are not sure if it will be ready to go prior to this season, but it is something that we'd like to move to. It would be a situation where the instructors can mark off the requirements each day as they're done. Tentaroo keeps track of that, and then at the end of each session, our goal is to be able to upload these into a Scoutbook, and that way you'd then be able to import them, I believe, into your unit deal. We had a couple of questions since we're on merit badges real quick. I was asked, are merit badges done in 2-day blocks or do we do them every day? It depends on the badge, correct, Aiden? Or
what do you mean by 2-day blocks? I mean, we have merit badge classes that will go throughout the entire week.
Right.
But it's like a kind of like a class at a high school where you have there's like 3 or 4 merit badge sessions throughout the day, and
right. So they're listed. So we'll have, like, let's say you're going to sign up for canoeing. There'll be maybe 2 times each day, like 2 o'clock and maybe 9 o'clock in the morning. So we'll offer it twice during those times. So if a scout signs up for the 9 a.m. canoeing class, they would go to canoeing every day at 9 o'clock on the days that we have advancement. We don't do advancement the first day, correct, and we don't do it the last, but we do it on each day in between.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? Okay.
Yep. So there's a total of, I believe, 5 sessions.
Yeah. And then another question, do you guys supply the blue cards or does the camp provide them? Traditionally here at Camp Pigott, we have blue cards that we will give you at no cost. However, if you are able to bring your blue cards ahead of time, it'll save all kinds of time and trouble. So we do have them. They are available. We don't charge for them. It's just one of the little ways that we can help scouts be successful if they come to camp.
In the past, troops have printed blue cards out with all the information already on them so that kids don't have to write their name, and it makes it a lot more readable. That is an option. It makes our job a lot easier when keeping track of them. So
kind of incident to that, here's an example of our daily schedule. So you see advancement sessions at 9, 10, and 11 in the morning, and then there's one at 2 or 1:45 in the afternoon. And you'll see that those go across Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then also on Friday, after that's all done, there's a makeup session. That's just in case a scout needs to get a couple of things signed off last minute for the badges. They're really not a schedule for that. During this time block, they can go to each area, talk to their instructors, make sure everything is set, that kind of thing. So that's kind of how that works. There will also, this page is also in the leader's guide that will be coming out for your reference. I just want to add the note that it's highly possible and very likely that the schedule will change a little bit between now and when camp starts, but in general, it will look like this.
I think one change that has happened is we usually have, every week we have a cookout week or a day where your troop will cook out lunch and dinner. And I believe on this schedule, it says it's Wednesday, but it will be Tuesday.
It will be Tuesday, that's correct. Okay, we'll talk about mountain bikes real quick. I'm just gonna kind of jump in. You are welcome to bring personal mountain bikes to camp this summer. Just know that if you bring them, the rider must always wear a helmet. The bike must always be operated in a safe manner. Camp can't take responsibility for damage that happens to personal mountain bikes or any bicycle. And the bikes are only to be used on established roads and trails around camp. If you're on a trail, it's important that riders are aware of their surroundings. are traveling at a reasonable speed and they realize that there may be walkers on those trails. There are trails in camp that will be off limits to bikes, but many of them, the main trails, the bikes are welcome on, and those will be marked when you get to camp. If it's a trail that a bike shouldn't be on, it'll be clear. If your scout is doing the mountain bike program, the camp has and provides bikes for that program. If they'd like to use their own, that's still fine as well. All right, at our trading post, you can buy snacks, memorabilia, t-shirts. This is also where you pay for any merit badge program fees. Those fees are listed in the leader's guide, so you'll have that information when that comes out. Any camping equipment, and all kinds of stuff. It's also where you'll check to see if you have mail for your unit. This year, we'll have some special memorabilia, t-shirts, sweatshirts, that kind of thing. This year, you guys are privileged. This is our 20th year anniversary here at Camp Pigott, 2003 to 2023. So we'll have some special edition 20th anniversary t-shirts, sweaters, patches, that kind of thing, so that you can have something to remember your time by and let people know, hey, I was there for the 20th anniversary. All right, on the council website, you can find all kinds of stuff, but key things that you'll find there are the leader's guide, which is coming soon. There will be an email that goes out. Once that's up and posted, it'll go to every registrant, like I said before, any leader that registered and any address that Melissa has on file for the summer camp session. The same is true for merit badge signups. When those are ready, an email will come out letting you know. And then you can also find the blanks for the annual health and medical record. The medical form is also on that site. And much, 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 much more information about all of the programs and camps and things that we offer in outdoor adventures here at the Chief Seattle Council. I'm going to go ahead and before I get into Adventure Camp, there were a couple of questions that I want to make sure that we address. I had a question about how a unit will know where they're camping, like what campsite, will there be other troops, who will those other troops be? That's a tough one to answer this early in the game. We do look at campsite requests that come in with your registrations. We try to honor those the best that we can, but we don't know what our full mix is going to be of campers until registration closes, which generally happens a week to a couple of weeks before camp. With all of the youth protection rules surrounding housing and how we can place people in accommodation, we really aren't able to put that final list together until about a week before you guys get here. Because our arrivals, we try to schedule those. We email out when you should arrive, and that email will include where you'll be camping. We try to get those emails to you 1 week ahead of camp, so you'll know where you're camping. There's times we know it earlier. If you want to check, you can email me, but it's really, really a tough puzzle to put together. And like I said, because we don't have all the bits and pieces we need until very close to go time, it's tough to get you that information and be accurate early. I was also asked here about adults' requirements for kids that are attending without their troop. We consider that provisional. There's a couple of ways that we handle that. If we just have 2 or 3 of them, we try and place them with another unit that's here at camp. That's always worked out really, really well for us. If we have a good number of them, say 8 to 10 or so, we'll make a provisional troop, and our staff will provide the supervision and leadership in campsite for those kids. There's a question about honor patrol or honor troop. Aiden, you want to talk about the Camp Pigott honor program just real briefly?
Yeah, so the Camp Pigott Honor program, Honor Troop Award, kind of goes through the 12 points of the Scout Law and has a task for each of them. And so, what we want troops to do is we want to have them, their senior patrol leader takes on that responsibility of completing that. And so, there is an Honor Troop Award. I talked about some of the, I think one of them is a service project. So, as a part of the Honor Troop Award, you'll be doing a service project as one of the requirements. But yes, we do have an Honor Troop Award.
Okay. One final question for the Camp Pigott things, medical forms, specifically the vaccination portion of the form. Do they need to be filled out completely, or is writing up to date okay? At minimum, we need to know the year that the vaccination was received. If you also know the month, that's helpful as well. But our medics need to know that information, and it becomes important if, you know, hopefully never, but if we need to send somebody down for medical care, the hospital would need to know that. Our tents, somebody asked about tents. Our tents at Camp Pigott are canvas on frames. Those frames have rafters under them as well. Some campsites have small tent-sized cabins, and they're asking about cots. We do not provide cots. If you would like to have one, our suggestion is to bring that along with you. Along that same line, in the cabins, there are bunks, but those bunks do not have pads on them. So bring a sleeping pad that you're sure you'll be comfortable with along as well.
Adult leadership for adventure camp. You don't need any adult leadership. We provide it all.
Right. That's correct. So Aiden's right. This question says, what adult leadership is needed for high adventure camp specifically? I'm assuming that you're referring to adventure camp. That camp is a drop the youth off, and we cover everything camp. We cover the leadership, everything. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into adventure camp right now. Hopefully a lot of the questions you have on that will be answered in this part. I'm going to go ahead and clear the question about adult leadership for high adventure camp. If we don't get your question addressed, type it again, and at the end of this, we'll try to see if we can get you the answers that you need. All right, adventure camp is an introduction to the Pacific Northwest's finest high adventure experiences. It includes natural face rock climbing, whitewater rafting. Those two things happen over in the Leavenworth area. Also alpine hiking. There is a trip up Mount Pilchuck, which is, you can see the mountain from camp, and the hike goes all the way to the top. There's a really cool fire lookout station from back in the 1900s up in there. And we do mountain biking trip all around the roads. What's not listed here is there's a really cool, you kind of see it in the picture here. The scouts get to do a real rappel down a real waterfall. It's just a couple miles from camp. So they mountain bike throughout that day, and then they stop, have lunch. They do this activity as well. Kind of a really neat thing for them to get to experience. It's open to scouts, BSA youth ages 15 to 21. It's based out of Camp Pigott. And again, it's a drop the scout off, and we take care of everything. It's that kind of program. 2 sessions, July 9 through 15, and July 16 through 22. I checked these yesterday. We do have some space left. I believe week 2 has more space than week 1. We have a good number of kids going already. So if you're interested in this, jump on to the council website and get registered. We'd like to fill them all the way up. The more people we have, the better experience it is. The fee for adventure camp this year, that fee is $525. That covers all these things. Qualified, certified staff supervision for every single activity. We have people certified in climbing. We hire a guide company to do the whitewater rafting. Have people certified in copes, aquatics. Everything is done above board, by the book, and in a safe fashion with the people that we're supposed to have supervising this sort of thing. All meals and lodging and the Leavenworth campsite. We have a campsite over there that we take care of the fee for. We cover all of their meals, everything. The river rafting guide services fees are included in that fee. And then of course the transportation to and from all those field trips is taken care of by us and is covered in that fee. So that one fee gets your scout everything that they need to participate in adventure camp. The only thing it wouldn't cover is if they'd like to purchase memorabilia or other things in the camp trading post. The transportation we provide is in rented vans, and the drivers are 25 years old or older. Okay, arrival for adventure camp is between 6 and 8 p.m. Sunday evening. We offer a parent meeting at 8 p.m. If anybody has last minute or activity specific questions they want to ask, that's a great time to do that. Monday, the scouts work on cope. Now, this daily schedule may change a little bit as we get closer, but right now, Monday we do cope and climbing here in camp. Tuesday, the scouts go out and they hike up Mount Pilchuck, do a lunch thing, have some activities while they're out there, and then they come back. Wednesday morning, the scouts at Adventure Camp jump in the vans early and they leave for Leavenworth. They set up at their campsite and then they head over and we do a whitewater rafting trip on the Wenatchee River. There, I believe, are pictures on the website of some of that as well. That particular field trip is an overnight camp out. They do some team building activities in the campsite. We provide all of the ingredients in the food, but the scouts and leadership get to cook their own dinner that night with everything that we've provided. The following morning, they get up and they go to a place called Barney's Rubble and do some natural face rock climbing. And then they come back, I believe, in time for dinner on Thursday evening. Friday, they jump on the mountain bikes and they trek all over the logging roads and trails that are around camp, and there's miles and miles and miles of them. We're right at the base of the foothills, so walking away from camp onto those roads puts you out into the wilderness very, very quickly. And then along that trip, they do that Explore Falls Waterfall Rappel that I talked about a little bit ago. The program ends on Saturday morning and scouts should be picked up by 9:30 a.m. Paperwork required for this is the part A, B, and C of the medical form. It has to be signed by the doctor and the parent, and that signature needs to be within the preceding 12 months. There is a assumption of risk form that comes out from the guide company. That guide company is River Riders out of Leavenworth. That will be in the Adventure Camp Program Guide, which will come out also next week, just like the Leader's Guide for Camp Pigott will. So that form will be in there. We'd like to have that form filled out and brought with the scout to camp. The COVID-19 waiver forms we no longer require. That was a recent decision, so don't worry about that one. And again, here at the bottom, these forms will be provided to you prior to camp. You can email me if you'd like to get them sooner, or if you lose it and can't find it, I'm happy to email you another one. All of our staff members on Adventure Camp are highly experienced with on-site specific training in the activities planned for the week. They're all trained, of course, in BSA youth protection and the barriers to abuse. They're trained in hazardous weather. They all have safety afloat. They have climb on safely. They've all been trained in wilderness first aid, and they have at least 2, possibly 3, that are certified climbing and or cope instructors. So it's not the kids go out in the woods and just do whatever they want. Nope, we have qualified, certified people that are out there who know what they're doing and know how to do it safely. So all of the proper supervision is in place. And finally, this is the very end, the Chief Seattle Council's Camp Pigott is a nationally accredited Scouts BSA camp. And we'd like to thank you for choosing our camp in 2023. I'm going to jump on and just, now that we're at the end, I'm going to take a look at the questions that are remaining. Let's see, Troop Cook. We provide, okay, this is a question about cookout. The troop needs to bring gear to cook with. How many meals that day? It is lunch and dinner, and that's all. You'll eat breakfast like normal in the camp dining hall, but lunch and dinner on that Tuesday will be in your campsite. We provide all of the ingredients, everything. So all you need to bring is the gear to cook it with. I am trying to get what those items are going to be into the leader's guide so that you know what gear to bring with you. I'm not sure if I'm going to have that information by the deadline. If I do not, that information will come out by email. If I miss you and it gets close to camp, please email me and I'll be able to give you that. A question about if somebody has safe swim and safety afloat certification, does that count for a swim check for you guys? It does not. It has to be the actual swim test. That's an NCAP requirement for anybody attending summer camp. They have to have passed that ability test. Probably not the answer you're looking for, but it's a fact. I've got to have everybody that comes to camp do the test. Somebody else asking, if they did it at Camp Edward last year, is it still good for Pigott? It's not. The swim check is only good for a year. Yeah, I passed the test. It's difficult, but it's doable. Yeah, that's about all I have to say on the swim checks. If you prefer to do your check ahead of camp, we talked about that a little earlier, you can. It just has to have been done by an aquatics instructor, and we've got to have that person sign off, yes, this person did the check and they passed it to my satisfaction. But even with that, again, that decision on whether it'll be accepted here at camp is 100% my aquatics director's call, because he's responsibility for the health and safety down there on the beach. I think that's about it. Everybody, this has been recorded. And I'm going to go ahead and share this out to our Director of Support Service, who is going to see that it gets posted, I believe, on the Council Facebook page, as well as the Council website. So you'll be able to watch and refer back to this, fast forward and rewind as needed. Good tool for planning. So again, everybody, thank you for being here tonight. Final reminder, if you have any further questions, you can email myself, you can email Aiden, any one of us. We are happy to answer your questions. And we look forward to seeing you here at camp here in just a couple of months. It's going to be an awesome summer. We've built an incredible team, a very strong group of area directors and camp management, great group of folks who know camp, who know scouting, and who have your scouts' best interest and success and enjoyment at heart. That is our #1 priority here, is you and your scouts. Everybody have a good evening, and we will see you all soon. Thanks for being here.